Hi, Caleb with Brownells here. Today we're going to be installing the new Brownells Wrenchman lightweight handguard. Now, whenever you first get the handguard, what's going to be in the box is going to be the handguard assembly itself. That's going to have the barrel nut assembly installed, which we'll need to take out. It's going to come with the barrel nut wrench, an Allen wrench, and of course the instructions. Now, for this process, we're not going to be using this barrel nut wrench because we're going to be using the Midwest Industries wrench, but the process is pretty much exactly the same. So, the first thing we're going to need to do is to disassemble the barrel nut assembly from the handguard. And to do that, we're just going to remove these two screws here. There's the first one. And the second one. And then our indexing plate is going to fall right out. We're going to set that down as well. The barrel nut will slide right out. If for whatever reason you can't get the barrel nut to slide out, what you can do is put it on the receiver, just one thread, and then use the receiver to pull it out. So with that disassembled, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is take our barrel extension, or barrel assembly itself I should say. And if you've ever seen me install a barrel before, you know I use Brownells Action Lube Plus on pretty much everything here. But you can use any standard Molly B base grease like your Aeroshell or things like that. It'll work just fine. So we're going to put a little bit of lube on the barrel extension. Insert that barrel extension into the upper receiver. Now we're going to take our barrel nut, now with the notches facing towards the muzzle. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease on there as well. And the last place I'm going to put grease is going to be the front of that recoil shoulder on the barrel extension, because that's where your barrel nut's actually going to torque down to. That's where all the friction is going to happen. So we'll take our barrel nut, slide it over the barrel, and we're going to thread it on by hand. Now if you've ever installed a Midwest Industries handguard before, you'll notice that this process looks really familiar because this is the Midwest Industries barrel nut system. It's a really good system. That's why we're definitely using it here. Alright, so with that hand tight, we're going to go ahead and torque it down. So the torque setting for this is set at 40 foot-pounds, but honestly, like any AR-15 barrel nut, anywhere between 30 to 80 foot-pounds is just fine. But we're going to go ahead and do the 40 because it doesn't have to index. There's no index anywhere, so it doesn't matter where it falls, which is a big plus about this as well. Alright, we're going to go ahead and set up our barrel nut wrench here. Get that onto the barrel nuts. There we go. Get our torque wrench positioned correctly. And we're going to apply pressure until we hear that click from the torque wrench. That indicates we are at 40 foot-pounds. Now the barrel nut and barrel assembly is installed. Set that aside. Now what we're going to need to do, since this handguard is covering the gas block and gas port area, we're going to go ahead and install the gas block. Now the gas tube's already installed on this. For instructions on that, check out our other videos, and that'll get you installed with the gas tube into the gas block. So we'll position our gas block correctly here. Take our Allen wrench. And tighten down our gas block. Alright, with that installed, we can continue the installation of the handguard. So what we'll do now is take our handguard, slide it over. And the handguard itself has these anti-rotation tabs, these big anti-rotation tabs on them, which is a really nice index as well. On most upper receivers, obviously, as with any free float handguard, with indexing tabs or anti-rotation tabs on them, billet receivers may or may not be an issue. So be sure your compatibility there. But with most, with any mil-spec upper receiver, it'll work great. So now we're going to take our indexing tab here, indexing plate. Now this is only going to go in one way. I'll remove it from the vise here so you can get a better look. You'll notice that there's a circle cut out in the bottom. So the front of your indexing tab is going to go into there. Then the screws are going to go in from right to left. We'll set those in position. They'll go through that indexing plate. And we'll snug those up there. Then I'll put it back in the vise to tighten it down the rest of the way. And these screws here, you're just going to need to snug up. And with those screws nice and snug, you are done with the installation of the handguard. So from here you can go ahead and put on your muzzle device, insert your bolt carrier group, charging handle, and you're good to go. You have an upper receiver. So if you have any questions about the installation of the new Brownells Wrenchman handguards, feel free to leave us a comment down below. And of course, if you have a question about installing pretty much any handguard, give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.